We are back with another Pokemon trading card game pocket build for the new expansion. Today we have a Wevile Darkrai deck. This is one that stood out to me as soon as I started pulling packs. I wasn't able to get a second Wevile, and so I eventually spent my pack points on that second Wevile so I could build out this deck, and it is amazing. I think this has the potential to be competitive for Tier 1, maybe Tier 0, depending on how the meta shakes up, but it has a lot of flexibility. It has a lot of like early game control. It has a lot of burst. It has a lot of high power output. And so it is a force to be reckoned with. One of my favorite decks so far. We're going to be leaning into the Darkrai, the Wevile. We add in one Spiritomb. That way we can have a Pokemon communication. There is a chance that sometimes we'll send in a Wevile. Most of the time, we'll probably send in the Spiritomb depending on what other cards we've pulled out of our deck. But the longer we wait to use Pokemon communication, the better the odds that we pull what we need, whether it be an evolution, whether it be Darkrai. Sometimes we may want Spiritomb to come out so that we can do a full bench damage and use Cyrus to take out those high priority targets. But I absolutely love the deck idea. The rest of the deck is looking at our tech tools. We have the draw mechanics of Professor's Research and Pokeball. We have Double Leaf so that we can retreat our cards out when we need to. Being able to strategically position them is super, super valuable. We have one X speed so that maybe we need to retreat out like a Wevile and we don't have everything else built up. Sometimes X speed can come in handy. You could probably cut it for a second Dawn if you really wanted to, but I do like the cheap retreat because sometimes you need to be able to switch your Pokemon around as needed to, really finesse the opponent and finesse what targets your opponent can hit. And so the X speeds can sometimes come in very clutch. We have one copy of Dawn. Being able to attach energy onto Darkrai and then shift it over into the Wevile evolution is so satisfying. Being able to do that 20 chip damage and then pivot it over. Every once in a while, you might use the Dawn to pivot off of something else into your Darkrai so that you can attack before the opponent might think you were able to. So if you only had one energy on Darkrai and then that follow-up turn, you are able to pivot it in, you use Dawn, and then all of a sudden you're attacking with Darkrai and they wouldn't have expected it. So a lot of times you can kind of surprise them with that reach that you can get to. We have Double Giant Cape. I like this more than the Rocky Helmet in this version. I know with the Wevile, sometimes you might want to go with that damage, but that is what we have Darkrai for. That is what we have Spiritomb for. We don't necessarily need the Rocky Tomb. I like the Giant Cloak because it is like a preemptive potion. We can survive and tank some attacks. So let's say we're up against a Gyarados deck. Using that Giant Cloak makes our Darkrai and our Wevile EX outside of that one-shot range, and we can all of a sudden take on those opponents that otherwise we had no shot against. And so Giant Cloak, I absolutely love that. I think we're going to see a lot of Giant Cloak as we progress. And then my favorite card from the set so far, Cyrus. Cyrus is so good. Being able to pull in those key Pokemon, those key resources that the opponent, retreated out to the backline and now think they're safe behind all of these other like big, beefy brick wall Pokemon. And then Cyrus pulls it back in and absolutely steals the games away for you. I think I lost or dropped one game, and it was against a kind of similar pseudo mirror match. It was against a Darkrai, and it stalled out for about 18 to 19 minutes before I finally lost to their own Cyrus. But otherwise, I've been able to take on everything else that I've ran into. And so we're gonna go ahead and jump over into a couple games. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. Darkrai. I mean, we could do the Spiritomb. That way we can do 10 damage to their Darkrai, 10 to the Coughing, and then next turn we have the 80 pretty easily. Just not sure if it's worth it. We're gonna do it anyways. Let's go ahead and do Swirling Disaster. I guess we could have thrown on the Giant Cape onto one of them. Fine. If we need to sacrifice like the backup Darkrai or maybe even the new Darkrai, we'll see. We'll see what we need to do. They finished building up the backline Darkrai. Let's see if they have like a Sabrina. They could have a Cyrus. Cyrus would be pretty big for them, bringing in this Darkrai in our backline. And so then I guess they would have needed to do it before adding on to the Spiritomb. Never mind. Never mind. All right, we do find the Wevile Weevils wobble. They do not fall down finally. So, how do we want to navigate? We know that they have the 80 damage. Do we want to do Cyrus, pull in the Darkrai, and then add our energy onto Darkrai, bring him down to 110, bring him down to 30 if we attack with the Darkrai? I mean, we would be able to survive, and I think that's the biggest thing, is getting their Darkrai taken care of and managed while protecting our own cards. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and try here. Let's build up our Darkrai, start chipping away. Even if they go like wheezing and pull it back in, that's fine for the most part. Let's retreat the Spiritomb and the Darkrai. I'm going to go ahead and evolve the Weevil just for good measure. Just in case we need another tanky body to pivot into, we have it. And so Giant Cape, do we want to add it? We don't really need to, do we? No. Let's go Dark Prism, and then see if they can find a way to bring it back. Whoa! The Scolipede line feels crazy. They do have Leaf, if you believe it or not. And so they're going to be able to make that pivot happen. But they're not going to attack with their Darkrai. And they're not adding on to it. And so we kind of get a free bypass turn, which is nice. Super interesting, because they'd have no wheezing. I mean, we'll take it. We'll gladly take it. We do get Dawn if we ever need to pivot into the Weevil. I guess we can add on to him, because it's going to do 80 regardless, right? We don't need the Nightmare Aura, do we? Not necessarily. We'll go ahead and add on to the Weevil, and then let's do our base 80 damage attack. They can do up to 100 damage, and so I was trying to decide if we should have used the Giant Cape or not. We probably should have, just for a little bit of a good measure, but I don't think they have anything in their arsenal that's going to do that. They have the second Darkrai, and this one is beautiful. Look at that beauty of a card. Well. And so Poison Sting. Ooh, interesting. So with the Poison Sting, if they have Scolipede, they can actually, I guess, attack with the Poison Sting, do the increased damage following up. We'll see. If we get a Cyrus, it'd be great, but we do not find it, unfortunately. They take 10 less damage here, right? Is it from all sources? From attacks. So we can take out the Whirlipede, right? We add on to the Darkrai, that brings it down to 70, and then we do 70 damage. So we're going to get very, very fortunate here. They have no points on us so far. And we have the Weevil, which Weevils wobble, and they will make them fall down. Let's go ahead and throw a Giant Cape onto him. I don't know that it's going to make a difference. We have the backup one if we ever need it for any reason. But let's go ahead and do our Prism damage, and it should be just enough to knock out the Whirlipede. We don't even have to worry about the Scolipede line. The only thing we have to worry about is the fact that we are poisoned. But again, not a big issue unless if they had a Dawn, they could actually get their healthy Darkrai up and online to attack. But it looks like maybe they didn't have one built into their deck. We will take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Derek. We are going first again. Surprise, surprise. We don't have Dawn. We don't have the dish soap, so we're still going to lead with Snivy? Not Snivy. Sneasel. Goodness. We're still going to lead with Sneasel. We can evolve them first. Even if they have a Misty and they hit heads and can attack when they shouldn't, it's all fine. All right, let's go Pokeball. We have double Giant Cape, which is nice to see. And then Darkrai, the second backup one. So I think we're going to go ahead and Giant Cape Sneasel. Giant Cape this Darkrai. we'll throw the second Darkrai down as well. Because we don't really need the Pokemon communication since we do have the Weevil evolution. I don't necessarily need the communication. And we have Darkrai. Those are our two like key pieces. And sometimes Spiritomb is nice, but not always necessary either. And so the backup Staryu. So that they couldn't attack. Interesting. All right, let's go Professor's Research. We're not going to be able to do a Dawn, even if we drew into it, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and add on to the Weevil. And then now let's attack with this frontline one. I'm not going to add on to the Darkrai because I do want to just start doing some chip damage. It's more than if we attached on to Darkrai. And next turn we can always build onto the Darkrai. So if they don't do something to like either retreat out this Staryu or evolve him, he's dead as soon as we attach an energy, which is nice. They do use Leaf, if you believe it. And they have their backup Starmie. Okay. Starmie EX is just so, like, so brutal. He does it does so much damage. We could retreat out the Weevil, but I don't know that we want to. Maybe we do. Maybe we retreat it out for a Darkrai. And then we're hoping for a Dawn. We could always do Leaf or just retreat him out and Leaf next turn. And if we had Dawn, that'd be beautiful. But if not, then it kind of is what it is. We're gonna let our Starmie go down. We have the Cyrus to be able to pull that Starmie back in, which is, I think, going to be very, very necessary. Getting a second Cyrus would be really nice as well, because then we could knock out the Staryu as well. They are going to start building onto their Palkia. All right. It does hurt to lose that one. Hurts a lot, I'm not going to lie. Let's throw this guy in, because we do have the Leaf to be able to pull him out for free. And then we can have this other one that's kind of unimpacted. Let's build here. Get a second Sneasel. I don't know that we'll necessarily need it, but go ahead and throw the Sneasel because we can. Yeah, I guess we could have tried for like the Spiritomb or something, but and we'll go ahead and end the turn. If they force us into like a Sabrina, then we just pivot into the other Darkrai. It's not ideal, but it's then the wow Manphy. Really? Okay. So they're letting their backup Palkia build up. As long as they don't have like a Misty or something that like really heavily ramps it up, we're good to go. We do also have a second Cyrus as well. Let's go. Hold on. We need the Leaf is the problem. So let's do Leaf. We almost messed up. We don't actually need the Leaf, do we? Cyrus, attach energy, and then Starmie falls. Yeah, we don't actually need it. Let's do the Cyrus onto the Starmie EX. Finish off the Darkrai. And they can throw in the Manphy again. But unless they have Misty and unless they send out the Palkia ready to do the Dimensional Storm this turn, should be fine. That's scary. We know there's no Vaporeon line. Just comes down to like a lucky Misty, I suppose. Let's go ahead and end it. If they have a Misty. I hope that they don't. Ah, they top decked it. Oh, we need a Tails. 50-50 was stressful. Was stressful. All right, now off of that, we win. So let's hit him with a Cyrus into the backup Staryu. Not even going to attack anybody. We're just going to do a whole bunch of attachment damage throughout the entirety of the game, and we'll win. We will take the victory. That was way closer than I would have liked for it to be, but we are able to hold down the win. We will take it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, we are going second here. We do have the Weevil evolution, so I'm gonna lead off with Sneasel, and I'm gonna hold the Spiritomb because we may use Pokemon Communication to be able to pull it back in. They have the beautiful looking Dialga, but we do very early damage, and so typically they're gonna have to be able to build up, and I'm hoping that that does not pay off for them. They use their Pokemon Communication. They send one in, pull one back out. Hopefully it is not the one they were looking for. They didn't play anything, so that's a decent sign, I suppose. All right, unless they could just do a surprise. I'm going to add the Giant Cape, because if they somehow did a surprise, like 60 damage, I would be super sad. But we have 2 coin flips here. We need at least 1 heads, so that when we evolve him next turn, beautiful, we can do the 70 damage. We do get the upside of doing the double heads, so we get 40 damage off of the 1 energy attack. You'll love to see it. That is the equivalent of a far-fetched attack. All right, so a Pokeball to pull something back in. Let's see what else they're going with, other than just the Dialga. Backup Dialga, okay. And so they're looking to build up the big beefy. I did play verse a player. I don't know if I recorded it or not, or if it was from my phone, but I did verse a player previously that just had 2 Dialgas, and they were looking to like build up the big beefy tanks. That did not turn out super well for them, but it's a decent enough idea. I just don't think it's as good as like an Articuno, where you can sometimes do that big attack on one. We do get the retreat. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, we are back to going first. We have Darkrai, we have the Weevil, we have Professor's Research. So there's a good chance that we can either find like a Pokeball or something. We are going against a Riolu, the Lucario, which Lucario is a super interesting build, especially with the new Ralts evolution. Very, very interesting. I'm interested to play it a little bit. I haven't found too much success with it. Like, it's decent, but it definitely could be better. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and throw the second Darkrai just for the Sabrina protection. And then we have a Giant Cape. I'm not going to throw it yet. Next turn, unless they made us pivot, it's probably just adding on to like the backup Darkrai. Maybe it's a Leaf pivot out into the Weevil frontline so that we have him ready to go. And we can do like a Dawn the follow-up turn. But we'll see. Professor's Research and Pokeball. If they have a Lucario, their Pokemon do some massive damage for some pretty cheap energy costs. It's very, very interesting to see the deck play out. They do get Old Amber out as well. I really wish that there was a way that we could get this fully online and fully going, but I know that there's not. So let's go Weevil, and with the Cyrus that we just drew, we might be in good fortune. Let's add. I'm gonna add the energy onto this backline Darkrai just because that's gonna be the one that is the highest health. We do a little bit of chip damage to Riolu. Let's go ahead and pull out a Leaf so that we can pivot out of Darkrai. Now, I guess we could have went ahead and used Dawn so that next turn we could have done the pivoting. It's probably would have been the better play. Was Dawn this turn to bring it from Darkrai to the Weevil and then follow up that following turn, just in case they had a Sabrina and our Weevil wouldn't have absorbed the kind of chip damage that we're going to have to deal with. But what I wanted was him out front. That way we could do a Cyrus to pull the Riolu or the Lucario, if they have the evolution, back in. They do go ahead and burn a leaf. They do have Lucario, who is 80 damage. Woof. And we're not able to... We're not able to just all out knock him out, which is unfortunate. So 50 damage is big. And we didn't have to absorb it either. Oh well, it's okay. Let's Darkrai, Dawn, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the Giant Cape onto Weevil because that's gonna be that's who's gonna be in the front line doing a lot of this chip damage. So let's go ahead and go with Dawn. We bring the energy forward. We can knock out the Hitmonchan. And now that we have the energy, next turn we could Cyrus into the Lucario front line, attach the energy onto Darkrai, bring it down to 60, and then we chip in the 70 damage, which is enough to knock out the Lucario. Now, there's a chance that they get 2 Lucarios on the board, which is craziness, absolutely unheard of. That extra 40 damage to any attack that they do is wild. I'm hoping that they don't have that happen, but oh my god, they do have it happen. Woof. Okay, I mean, they can't attack unless they pull the Lucario in this turn, which is good. Woof. That is tough. Super tough. We get a second Cyrus, which is always a welcome sight. Let's go with the Cyrus to pull in this Lucario, and they don't have any tokens yet. And so we're going to have 2, so they're going to have to play it very, very carefully. We're going to have a Darkrai that is fully up and online, even though they're going to be able to do the bonus damage. 20, not 40. Thank goodness. They're going to have to rely very heavily on Aerodactyl, which we have the Cyrus to force them back into whenever they try to, like, weasel their way out and, like, shift it away. They're going to be able to do, what, 100 damage? Yeah, 100 damage with the Land Crush. Ooh, Marshadow's big, but he's not really online at this point. Whoa, and they don't add on to the Aerodactyl to attack. Feels kind of crazy. They're definitely dead in the water now. I think we made them rage. I mean, I feel bad, but at the same time, there's a lot of new cards. There's a lot of new combos. Kind of get a feel for it. If a deck isn't working, maybe it's not the right time in the meta for it. Trash it, try something new. And so they did time out. Woof. Big wolf. All right, let's attach here. I'm gonna go ahead and attack. We can't kill the Aerodactyl here, but that's fine. Then we attack. Now we'll wait for the return timer to run out. There is the timeout. We will take the win. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, I love that card back. Such a beautiful one. All right, we are going first here, so we get the first chance at an evolution. We have Sneasel, no Weevil yet. Ooh, and they're going Dialga. And so I've seen a couple of people run like just a double Dialga deck, and I'm not sure that I'm fully sold on it, but let's go ahead and go Professor's Research. Maybe we find, okay, Cyrus and a backup Sneasel. Now, let's try our luck at a little bit of Pokemon communication. We're going to talk to the cards, believe in the heart. Maybe we get the evolution for Sneasel. Maybe we get Darkrai. Either one we were okay with. Spiritomb was the only one that we didn't necessarily care to have come down. So now if we just naturally draw the Weevil, we can attach onto Darkrai, dawn it over into Sneasel, and then evolve into Weevil and just do some crazy damage for a first attacking turn. Now that's very specific, very fairly unlikely that it's going to happen that way, but there's always a chance. Giant Cape is not how it's going to happen. So let's add on to Darkrai, and then do we go ahead and Dawn it over onto Sneasel so we can potentially do 40 more? I kind of think so. We only run one copy of Dawn because sometimes it's not necessary, but when it is handy, it is very handy. We could waste the Giant Cape. I'm not going to. I don't think we're in any risk of being completely knocked out this turn, but they are going to be able to build up their like backline Melmetal here. Double Heads is beautiful, smacking down that 40 damage. Now, if we can find a Weevil, for the life of me, I cannot lock in on that name. If we find a Weevil, then we can actually knock out Dialga with an energy attachment onto Darkrai, the evolution, and then we are good to go. And so they do evolve into Melmetal, which is major. And then, oof, the potion of all things. Unfortunate. All right. It is what it is. All right, let's see. We can always attach the Giant Cape, so we're outside of KO range. Oof, Leaf. We are not brawling very well, believe it or not. Giant Cape, we can tank one more Metallic Turbo, but that's still very, very scary. With our Nightmare Aura, hope for the best. It started off so strong. And then it's kind of fallen apart. I mean, on the upside, we were flipping incredibly well. Bringing him down to 50 now, so there's a chance that even if we don't find Weasel, maybe we can knock out the Dialga? I hope anyways. So if they retreat the Dialga out, we do have Cyrus to pull it back in. But I think they're going to let the Melmetal just ramp up here. Yeah, so now he is online, ready to go. Very, very scary. There's the Weevil. He's gonna die, but there he is. He's gonna die to the Melmetal, which is unfortunate. Super metal of him. But we have the guaranteed knockout of Dialga. Then we can tank a shot on Melmetal, which is decent. Darkrai is unimpacted by that -20, which is also nice. We have the Giant Cape to throw onto Darkrai as well. All right, let's go with the Weevil, knock out Dialga, and then it's time to see how we pull it home from here. We have some big damage, but Weevil, unfortunately, is not going to survive this. They're going to do the heavy impact, and that is going to have a big impact on us. Now, the good thing, we're going to be able to maybe have Cyrus to pull Melmetal back in so that he can't quite escape the onslaught that is our Darkrai. Weevil, it took you a little bit to get online. You flipped really well. I think you definitely deserve and earned a little bit of a rest. Back up Weevil in case we ever find the first evolution form of it. Let's go with the Giant Cape so we can tank a little bit better. Then the Nightmare Aura will do the 20 because it's not going to be reduced because the ability Hard Coat is specific to attacks. Let's go Dark Prism. We're going to do only 60 damage, which is unfortunate, but does put him in within KO range. So what I assume is they're going to retreat out the Melmetal and throw in the Dialga, the backup Dialga. No! Whoa! They sold. They, why? Why would you do that? We have two prize tokens. What they should have done is retreated him out, used Dialga, built him back up so that he was within attack range again, and then they could have bought themselves a turn. Since they didn't, do we punish it at all? We're just gonna end it. We're not gonna do Professor's Research. I know for a fact that this is gonna knock him out, and so we will grab the win. Yeah. still got a lot of good resources. I think it's going to take... I don't know that it's just as straightforward as like Dialga plus Melmetal, because there are a lot of really good aggro and high damage output decks that can kind of deal with it. Maybe it's a mixture of like aggro and tank. I don't know. I do like that they have the resources. We'll take the win. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, we are going second. We start with Spiritomb, which it is what it is. We can do some chip damage, especially if they throw in a like a full board. Then that makes our Cyrus a little bit more effective. Whoa, Misty turn 1. We are hoping for a Tails. Thank goodness. Because that could greatly change the tide of the battle. Whew. All right, we do have the Sneasel. We also have the Weevil evolution. So let's go Professor's Research. Maybe we find our Darkrai. No. No, we do not. All right. Spiritomb. And then we're just going to do the 10 damage. That way, next turn we can pivot into Sneasel. Maybe knock out the Staryu, Starmie. Just kind of depends. Pokeball, if they have the evolution or not. Really, with the Pokeball, let's see what else they're going with. Oh, okay. Starmie is in their wheelhouse. And then they do have the Palkia. Big. They can't attack with the Starmie, though, this turn, which is big for us. We have the backup Sneasel, which we love to see. I'm not going to drop the Sneasel in case we need to do the Pokemon communication. We can send it back in for a Darkrai. We have the X speed to retreat out the Spiritomb. So I'm going to go ahead and do Professor's Research, get a little bit more draw. Cyrus is great. Pokemon communication, also great. But I'll save it for now. Let's go on to the Weevil. Do we even need to burn the X speed? I mean, Spiritomb's probably not going to come back out. We're not going to burn the X speed. We're just going to do this. And I think we throw the... I almost think we throw the Giant Cape out. I don't know. Go ahead and attack. It is what it is. It's fine. Throwing the Giant Cape onto Spiritomb would protect us from like a Sabrina line, which would be nice. The Cyrus would also be nice. If we can find a Darkrai here, then we can take out the Manaphy, which is going to be beautiful because then we have the Cyrus to win the game from there. There's our backup Weevil. It's decent, but actually, we have both Sneasels, both Weevils. The only Pokemon left in our deck, and the reason that I held the Pokemon communication until we were ready to use it, is now we have the guarantee that it's Darkrai. Like, there's nothing else in our deck. And so we pull out the Darkrai. Absolutely beautiful. Unless you can potentially pull the same Pokemon, which I don't think you can, based off of the way that it's worded. Yeah, since it's... yeah. Shouldn't be able to, but if for some reason you can, it's that's not great. Let's throw the backup Sneasel just because. We throw in Darkrai just because. Now Manaphy is damaged. We go Scratching Nails, and I think we should be able to finish them off next turn. There shouldn't be a way that they can one-hit KO our Weevil, unless they got super lucky with a Misty onto the Palkia. Would be their only chance. But we do get the concede. We'll gladly take it. And that is where I'm going to go ahead and end the video. This deck feels like a true contender for aggro, a bit of tanky, very flexible. Could potentially be tier 1, maybe tier 0, depending on how the meta shakes up. We'll have to wait and see. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.